Hello everyone, welcome back to your biology class. Okay, so we had started the chapter why do we fall ill, and in the previous session we have talked about what is health, what is disease and what type of disease, and I finished off saying that one more type of disease is there about which we will learn in the next section. This is that section where we are going to learn about that particular type of disease. Before going into that, we all often fall ill. Many of us, if not us, the people surrounding us, they fall ill, one or the other disease, something. What are the causes of these disease? What exactly causes these diseases in us? Now see, for answer for this, you must know that disease causes are of different levels. Different types of causes can be there for one single disease. For example, take you're in your classroom and one of your friend is having a cold. Alright. Now, the next day or 2 days later, you start having symptoms of cold. Now, the first reason which comes to our mind is, oh, one of my classmates had cold, that's why I got the cold. But then the question comes, why only you got the cold? Why not other friends in your class? The answer to that can be, your body did not have enough strength to defend against the cold. That means that the body was not strong enough. Why was the body not strong enough? Maybe because your body did not get enough nourishment to build up the strength. You might be continuously eating only junk food, because of which the essential nutrients are not reaching your body. That can be a reason. Why you are only eating junk food? Because you like only junk food. Just imagine those children who are not able to get good nourishment because of poverty, because of bad financial background. In them also, they are very susceptible to diseases because the body do not have enough strength or is not getting enough nourishment to fight a disease. So whenever you think of a disease, different causes can be there. Okay, these disease causes can be divided into two stages or two types. A primary cause or an immediate cause. A primary cause, a much more immediate cause, and a contributory cause. Appo any disease it can have two causes, two levels of cause. One is a primary or an immediate cause. Another is a contributory cause, which contributes to the actual cause of the disease, but is not the only reason for the disease. What is primary cause? One of your friend had cold and you got the cold. From that person who is having the cold, how did you get a healthy person get the cold? Something from that person is transmitted to you. Maybe a disease-causing microorganism from that affected individual was transmitted to you. How? You may have touched that person, or you may have used a pen which your friend had used, and using that hand containing the microorganism, you might have touched your mouth or face. That can be the reason. So the immediate cause of the disease is a microorganism which has entered your body. Disease-causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Disease-causing microorganisms are called pathogen. So the immediate cause of a disease was that a pathogen from the affected person entered your body via different means. Okay, now that pathogen enters your body, multiplies in your body and affects the normal functioning of the body. Okay, that's how you got the disease. Now what is a contributory cause? Contributory cause can be second level and third level. Again, second level is there second level cause and the third level cause. So what is second level and third level? Second level in the paranale good nourishment in that your body is lacking good nourishment or a good immunity. Now this can be because of lack of proper food availability, that is proper nourishment, or malnutrition karanam your immunity can be good, or because you are continuously eating junk foods your body is lacking all the immunity or the strength that it requires to fight off certain diseases, or the causes can be genetic. Genetically by birth itself your immunity is very low, very poor, such that anything can affect you, anything can cause a trouble in your body. That is second level causes. Now what is third level cause? Third level cause, just now I told you, malnutrition. Malnutrition can be because of poverty. Very poor children who cannot afford to have enough nourishment, all the nutrients and vitamins in their food. And maybe in one day meal, for them getting enough nutrition to the body to sustain life is not possible. In those people, immunity or the strength to fight off diseases will be very low. That becomes the third level cause of a disease. So the causes of disease, different causes, different levels of causes can be there. Primary or immediate cause, contributory cause. Contributory cause, it is not the actual reason of a disease, but it is contributing to that disease, contributing in increasing the effect of that disease. Okay. Primary cause. Any disease can be caused by a microorganisms which we acquire from it. We are surrounded by thousands of crores of millions of microorganisms around us. Okay, any one of them can affect us, can cause a disease. So a biological agent, a pathogen can be a primary cause of any disease. Okay, like in the case of cold, a virus can cause the disease. Cold cause virus. So a virus can cause a disease. Now this was external. Body hormonal imbalance because of deficiency of some vitamins, some deficiency. You have learned about deficiency diseases, right? So the diseases, the primary causes can be external or internal. We will be focusing only on the external causes, that is disease causing microorganisms which are nothing but pathogens. Now, based upon whether a disease is caused by microorganisms, diseases can be categorized into two types. Let us see which are they. Based on whether a particular disease is caused by a microorganism or not, two types of diseases are there. They are infectious diseases and non-infectious diseases. Infectious diseases are those whose immediate cause is a microorganism. That is, these diseases are caused by microorganisms. Non-infectious diseases are those which are not caused by any microorganisms, or it can be caused by any internal problems in the organs or organ systems or any other functioning of the body. Okay, here the immediate cause is not a microorganism. Infectious disease, since they are caused by microorganisms, they are communicable disease. They causing the disease in the pathogen, they are communicable. That is, they can be transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person. Whereas this is not communicable. They are non-communicable. So, immediate cause, microorganism. Not microorganisms. Here they are communicable. They are non-communicable. Okay, microorganisms, communicable, non-communicable. Now, example of infectious disease, just now as I said, your common cold, chicken pox, HIV virus, the famous coronavirus are all infectious diseases. Whereas examples of non-infectious diseases, blood pressure, BP, diabetes, obesity, cancer, all those are examples of non-infectious diseases. That is, they cannot spread from one person to another person. Alright, in this chapter, we will be focusing on infectious diseases. Infectious diseases, how they are spreading, how to control them, how to prevent them, and in this chapter what we are going to learn. Alright, so whenever we are learning about infectious diseases, there are two important things that anyone should first look for. Okay, two important information that is very vital in treating infectious diseases. Let us look which are they. The two important informations are: one, the causative agent. Okay, what exactly caused disease? So, the pathogens, microorganisms, disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Exactly which pathogen caused the particular disease should be the first thing that one looks for. Okay, now the second information that needs to be known is the mode of transmission. What is it? Mode of transmission. How the disease spreads. Since it is infectious diseases, it is known that it is a communicable disease, that is, it spreads from one person to another person. Now, if it is spreading, how exactly it spreads? When the coronavirus is famous, everyone were asked to wash their hands and cover their faces. Why? Because where it spreads like that through touch. Someone, if the affected person touch something and we touch the same thing, it is the virus will be there in our hands, and if you touch our face or mouth, it enters through those openings. That's why we were asked to wash our hands and cover our faces. Okay, that the same way, it is very important to know how a particular disease transmits from an affected person to a healthy person. The two information that is very important while we study about infectious diseases are the causative agents and the mode of transmission. Let us first look at the causative agents. Causative agents, as I said earlier, the disease causing microorganisms are called as pathogens. Okay, pathogen, different categories under. See, you look around yourselves, there are millions of different types of organisms. And it is always better to put them into groups wherein similar kind of organisms can be identified. But human beings all one group. Okay, birds all one group. That's microorganisms, there are different categories to help us identify them better. Better easily identify the organisms surrounding you have all been categorized into different groups. These categories okay, for now, know that organisms are grouped to help us study them better. It can be, the causative agent can be a virus. The causative agent can be a bacteria, a protozoan, a fungi, a helminthus. Now let us look at some of the diseases which are caused by these group of pathogens. Virus, very common, your cold. The common cold is caused by a virus. Other examples, AIDS, then chickenpox, smallpox, the coronavirus, Nipah are all caused by a virus. Okay, the next is bacteria. Some of the diseases which are caused by bacteria include cholera and tuberculosis. Okay. Protozoan disease, malaria. Protozoans are single-celled organism. And that organism is made up of single cell. That's why I called as single-celled organisms, protozoans. Okay, and the disease caused by them is malaria and kala azar, fever, that is caused by protozoans. The next, fungi. Most of the fungal diseases are skin diseases, that is chori pole aayirikkum or undava. Example is ringworm. Even though the name says worm in it, it is not caused by a worm, instead it is a fungal disease. Okay, in those people who are affected with ringworm, in their body parts here and there, structures which resembles a ring പോലെ വട്ടത്തിൽ അവിടെ ഇവിടെ ചൊറിയുണ്ടാവും. That is ringworm. Then is athlete's foot. Athlete's foot എന്ന് പറയുമ്പം sometimes when you wear someone else's shoes or slippers or some because of some infections in between your toes, we can see that it becomes smelly, pus starts coming out, it is itchy and white in color. That is athlete's foot. Alright, caused by fungus. Most skin problems, if fungus karanam pimples undav, there is a certain kind of pimple which is caused by fungus. Now helminthes. Helminthes ennu parnal worms na idartham. Okay, worms. So the worms causing certain diseases in the body. One most common example for helminthes causing disease is elephantiasis. Appo ningal endana elephantiasis? Elephantiasis is nothing but mand. There are certain people for whom their lower body parts will be swelled very large like that of elephant's foot. Very large. That is called as elephantiasis. Okay, the elephantiasis is caused by a worm. And apart from that, not in our country, but in countries or places where the availability of hygiene is very less or availability of good drinking water or potable drinking water is very scarce, in those places people depend on whatever water they get. That water can be contaminated by pathogens. One such case is the guinea worm. Guinea worm it lays their eggs in the water. People drink water from very bad, not good water supply. They drink it and the worms or the eggs enters into the body. These worms and these eggs will go and settle down in the lower parts of the body, and once their growth is complete, they will pierce through the skin, through the muscles and come out. Okay, as the image shows. So these are some of the examples of diseases which are caused by these group of common causative agents. These are the most common causative agents. Either this is a we can put them into one or the other group below, which are present over here. Alright. Now, why do we need to know which is the causative agent? What is the importance? No. For the kind of treatment to be proceeded, it is very important to know which is a causative agent that has caused the disease. Different organism has different treatment methods. All organism whatever this organism they do is they enter into our body, they multiply and they survive, and hence finally they will affect the functioning of the body. പക്ഷേ എന്നിരുന്നാലും ഓരോന്നിനും അതിൻ്റെതായ രീതിയുണ്ട്. How they enter the body, which cells they go and attack, and how they multiply, that is different. So the way in which we should treat these diseases also becomes different. Just imagine some enemies or some terrorists are trying to infiltrate our borders, okay, in large numbers. Our soldiers are trying to stop them from entering into our country and harming our citizens. Okay, what they do, they will always look for a weak spot or a weak point in their group. എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഒരു weak spot ഉണ്ടോ അവിടെ അറ്റാക്ക് ചെയ്യും. അവിടെ അറ്റാക്ക് ചെയ്ത് എന്താ, the entire groups become weak. Okay, it becomes very easy to overtake them. In the same way, നമ്മുടെ ബോഡിയിലായാലും whenever a pathogen enters into our body, and if we need to find a cure for that particular pathogen, it is always important to know which kind of causative agent has entered into the body. It is very important to know the properties of that particular pathogen. അങ്ങനെ അതിൻ്റെ പ്രോപ്പർട്ടീസ് നമ്മൾ അറിഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അതിൻ്റെ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ അറിഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, we will always look for, or the people who are making medicine, the researchers, the scientists, whoever it is, they will always look for a weak spot. A weak spot, if touched, can affect the entire growth or multiplication of that particular organism. അതാണ് എപ്പോഴും ടാബ്ലറ്റ്സ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പോൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മെഡിസിൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പം സയൻറ്റിസ്റ്റ് നോക്കുന്നത്. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ കൊറോണ വൈറസിനെ പറ്റി അറിയാം. കൊറോണ വൈറസിനെ പറ്റി അതിൻ്റെ വാക്സിൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ ഒരുപാട് സമയം ഉണ്ടാകുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. പക്ഷേ വാട്ട് ദീസ് ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് ആർ ഡൂയിങ്, ദർ സ്റ്റഡിയിങ് കൊറോണ വൈറസ്. ഒരു മനുഷ്യനിലുള്ള കൊറോണ വൈറസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറൊരു ഏരിയയിൽ ഇന്ത്യയിലുള്ള കൊറോണ വൈറസ്, അമേരിക്കയിലുള്ള കൊറോണ വൈറസ്, ദർ കമ്പയറിങ് ദം, ദർ സ്റ്റഡിയിങ് ദം. വൈ? ടു ഫൈൻഡ് ഔട്ട് എ വീക്ക് സ്പോട്ട് where it can be targeted and attacked. such that the entire organism becomes useless. Okay, for example, let us take bacteria. Bacteria ennu parayumbam it has two membranes surrounding it. You have learned about cell membrane and cytoplasm. Now you have learned all about that, right? Bacteria is having a cell membrane, but apart from that, it is also having a cell wall surrounding the cell membrane. So two membranes are there. Now this cell wall is very strong that our body's antibodies will not be able to attack it. ഈ സെൽ വോൾ കാരണം എന്ത് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ബോഡിക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ കഴിക്കുന്ന മരുന്നൊന്നും അതിനെ അഫക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So what can be done? A medicine can be taken which will affect the cell wall formation of that particular organism. Cell wall form ചെയ്താലല്ലേ കുഴപ്പമുള്ളൂ. എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ സെൽ വാൾ ഫോർമേഷൻ അഫക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ we can stop the organism from multiplying further and kill it. So penicillin is one such tablet or one such medicine which will block the cell wall formation in bacteria, and then killing them is very easy. Agane weak spot kandupidichu bacteria. But the question is, can the same medicine be used for other categories also? The answer is no. Let us take example virus. Viruses do not have such cell wall formation. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് penicillin is an antibiotic. So penicillin cannot be used for viral infections. അങ്ങനെ ഓരോ ഡിസീസ് ആയാലും അതിൻ്റെ കോസേറ്റീവ് ഏജൻറ്റ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it becomes very easy for us to attack them and hence cure them. That is why I told infectious disease പറ്റി പഠിക്കുമ്പം two things are very important. One is the causative agent and another is the mode of transmission. So we finished our causative agent section. We will be moving towards our mode of transmission. Okay, mode of transmission. Now based on the mode of transmission, infectious diseases, or we can say communicable diseases, are of two types. Contagious diseases or non-contagious diseases. Which are they? Based on modes of transmission, contagious diseases are there, non-contagious diseases are there. Okay, contagious diseases are those which can be transmitted from an affected individual to a healthy individual through direct contact. Direct contact. For example, I am affected with certain kind of diseases. I am touching another person, or that person touches me. I hug them. I have a handshake with them. This is direct contact. So these direct contact can spread the disease from one person to another. Those diseases are called as contagious diseases. All right. Whereas non-contagious diseases, it does not spread through direct. It is not the actual contact, but it can be spread through food, water and air. These diseases are spread via food, water, air. Now let's first look at non-contagious diseases. Airborne disease. Airborne diseases. I have a cold. There are certain people surrounding me. I suddenly sneeze without covering my face. The virus, through the water droplets that come out while I sneeze, touches the body of healthy individuals and enters their body when suppose they touch them off and on. Angane spread out. That those diseases are called as airborne diseases which spread through air droplets or water droplets by sneezing and coughing. All right. Waterborne diseases. Suppose an affected person, a person who is having some gut infection like cholera, they defecate in the open, and that fecal matter somehow reaches the water body nearby, and wherever the water flows, this disease is being carried with it. Cholera or mention either river side defecate cheyanengil their fecal matter maybe by through rain they will be swipe and go reach the water body, and from the water body is carried. from long or next village line. Suppose someone is drinking that water, they are getting the disease. So diseases which are spread through water by means of water are called as waterborne diseases. Okay. Now food. Food defecate, for example, defecate each food again, foodborne diseases. Okay, these are different ways why food can be transmitted. Alright, even here in these cases, there can be other organisms which carry the pathogens to a healthy individual. Okay, the organisms which are carriers of pathogens, either internally or externally. അവരുടെ ബോഡിക്ക് ഉള്ളിൽ ക്യാരി ചെയ്യാം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബോഡീൻ്റെ പുറത്ത് ക്യാരി ചെയ്യാം. അങ്ങനെ ക്യാരി ചെയ്തിട്ട് വേറൊരു ഹെൽത്തി പേഴ്സണിന് കൊണ്ടുപോയിട്ട് ഈ ഡിസീസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനത്തെ ഓർഗാനിസംസിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് വെക്ടേഴ്സ്. വെക്ടേഴ്സ് ആർ കാരിയേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് പാത്തജൻ. എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ someone with a particular disease defecates in the open, a housefly comes and sits on it, and അതിൻ്റെ കാലിലും കയ്യിലൊക്കെ fecal matter കയറി, and hence also the pathogen has been touched. It will fly and go and sit on a foot. If you do not wash the food or vegetables before eating, you are directly consuming that particular pathogen, and hence you got the disease. So here housefly is the vector or a carrier of disease. Okay, even a housefly is carrying the disease outside its body, externally. Now suppose let us take the example of malaria. Or affected person, a affected person ne oru kodugu vannu kadichu, female anopheles mosquito vannu kadichu, blood suck cheyidu, angane aa malaria inde protozoan mosquito inde ulli keri ainde blood rendu white blood. Now it goes and sucks the blood from another person. Angane suck cheyumbo it is e pathogen is entering the body of a healthy person. Here mosquito is the vector and it is carrying the pathogen inside its body. Alright, so this is the non-contagious transmission of diseases, where it can be airborne, waterborne, foodborne or vector-borne. Okay, vector-borne. Vectors are carriers of disease. Alright, now let us come into contagious diseases. These diseases are spread from an affected individual to a healthy individual by direct contact. In direct contact, it can be two types of contact. Sexual contact, casual, physical contact. Sexual contact, if someone is having a sexual relationship with the affected individual, that disease can spread from the affected individual to a healthy individual. Example for such diseases, AIDS. AIDS spread from affected individual to a healthy individual by having sexual relationship with that person. And there are other reasons of spreading of AIDS. Like if a mother is having AIDS and she breastfeeds her child, then that is a means of transmission of disease. Okay. Otherwise also blood transfusion. For AIDS in the case, AIDS will add blood, where blood mix the healthy individual will get AIDS. But casual physical contact. Casual physical contact is normal. Or handshake, or hug, normal touching or patting. That is casual physical contact. AIDS do not spread via casual physical contact. AIDS spread down one sexual relationship, one breastfeeding by an affected mother, third one is by blood transfusion. Okay, this means AIDS spread down. AIDS do not spread by casual physical contact. Casual physical contact spread down the disease. Example, chicken pox. Okay, so this is the two types of diseases based on mode of transmission. Contagious disease, non-contagious disease. Contagious disease, by direct contact with the affected individual, disease can be transmitted. Non-contagious disease is that food, water, air, you spread down the disease. Non-contagious diseases. Here, contagious diseases can spread through two means. One, via sexual contact or via having casual physical interactions. Okay. Non-contagious diseases, airborne, waterborne, vector-borne. Okay, the means by which they are spreading from healthy. It is not direct. ഒരു ഇൻഡയറക്റ്റ് വേയിലാണ്. ഡയറക്റ്റ് 2 പേഴ്സൺ സംസാരിക്കാൻ സ്പ്രെഡ് ആകുന്നില്ല, ഒരു പേഴ്സണിൽ നിന്ന് അതിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിലത്തെ പാത്തജൻസ് ബൈ സം മീൻസ് ഇസ് കമ്മിങ് ഔട്ട് ആൻഡ് എൻറ്ററിങ് ദ ബോഡി ഓഫ് അതർ പേഴ്സൺ. ഓൾറൈറ്റ്, please write down. I hope you have taken down notes of this, more short notes. I want to see that new sprint when we open the school. നിങ്ങൾ സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് നോട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പഠിക്കണം. Okay, if through the video if not able to understand, try reading the textbook also. Textbook വായിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കി പിന്നെ ഒന്നുകൂടെ വീഡിയോ കാണാം. Alright, now at the end of the chapter I will give you the notes. This is for now. Next video I'll upload soon. See you in the next section.